Welcome to Longmont Startup Week, Friday morning. Today's is the Revitalize Capital Track, and my name is Rich Maloy. I'm so excited to be here. I have been a resident here in Longmont since 2017, and I'm always promoting the Longmont community and so proud to be part of this community, this organization, and Longmont Startup Week. So briefly, I am the VP of Engagement at Established. We're a consulting company that helps big organizations find and engage with startups. I'm also a partner at Springtime Ventures, and we are a Colorado-based seed stage venture fund. We've invested in a number of great Colorado companies and would love to meet all of you and learn all about your businesses. But today, this panel, this morning, we've got three amazing panels. First up at 9 o'clock right now, we are going to get started with using community-based marketing to activate, engage, and grow a loyal customer base. Community is a big passion of mine, and so I'm excited about this one. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk about building a banking relationship. Finances are really at the heart of everything that you're doing as a small business and as a startup, and so working with your banker is absolutely critical. And so come and learn from some of the best from Longmont and from our community. And then at 11 o'clock, we have a panel on leveraging state and federal funding resources. And in my full-time job, I actually work on promoting SBIR and STTR federal funding. And so we've got two amazing partners from our Colorado community who know the best free funding resources, grants, and awards that you can win for your business. And so stick around for that at 11 a.m. And then this afternoon, we have a great lineup this afternoon with more capital tracks. Some of my friends from Simple Startup and from Rocky's Venture Club and others will be here today. Now, Longmont Startup Week is a free event, and all of these free events are made possible by our sponsors. And so I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors for being so incredible, supporting the work that Longmont Startup Week is doing. Our platinum sponsors this year are ARC Thrift Stores, Avocet Communications, Ward Electric Company, and of course, the Longmont Economic Development Partnership. Gold sponsors are BizWest, Left Hand Brewery, and Docketly. Our connected sponsors are Downtown Longmont and High Plains Bank. And our in-kind sponsors, Handprint Inc., Circle Graphics, Sticker Giant, and Chop 5. So thank you so much for our sponsors for supporting Longmont Startup Week. So let's get started. Let's kick off this morning with our panel on using community-based marketing to activate, engage, and grow a loyal customer base. Michelle, I'd like to welcome you to the stage. Please turn on your camera. I'm going to introduce Michelle Baltierras. Thanks for joining us, Michelle.
Good morning.
Good morning. And so Michelle is the Director of Marketing Communications at High Plains Bank. She worked in marketing and communications at Lee & Perrins, Dannon Group, and Celestial Seasonings before joining High Plains Bank. Her passion for community and customer experience fits seamlessly with the High Plains Bank culture and vision. Founded in 1908 in Eastern Colorado, High Plains Bank still operates like a startup with ongoing digital innovation and raising the bar on customer experience. High Plains Bank opened its downtown Longmont location in 2013 and is opening a second Longmont location on 17th and Hover in September. So hi, Michelle. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
You bet. Good to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Next up, we have John Young. John, please turn on your camera. Say hi. I'll give you a quick intro.
Morning.
Morning, John. So John is the co-founder and general manager and compliance officer for Abbott and Wallace Distilling. You might also know them as Longtucky. So for 10 years after graduating in 2010 from the University of Florida with a Master's of Science in Entrepreneurship, John dove into craft beverage manufacturing. He co-founded Abbott and Wallace Distilling in 2015 with his best friend, H.K. Wallace. Today, John specializes in new product development with an emphasis on local ingredients. However, Abbott and Wallace Distilling's best product is the tasting room at 4th and Terry in downtown Longmont, Colorado. So be sure to pop in for tasting at the tasting room. And finally, Jean Ditslear, would please turn on your camera and say hello.
Hi.
Good morning, Jane.
Morning.
Jane is the owner and founder of both Redwall Communications and 300 Sons Brewing. Because why have two jobs when you can have two businesses? So Jane owns and operates two businesses, and I'm sure that keeps her busy. She and her husband settled in Longmont in 2000 and established a graphic design agency, Redwall Communications. And then in 2014, they caught the craft beer bug and founded 300 Sons Brewing. Jean uses her creative vision and ongoing connection with the Longmont community to promote her hyper-local brew pub as a place for fun and good conversation over delicious craft beer and scratch food. Wonderful. We have an amazing local panel. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. So let's kick it off here with talking about what does community engagement mean for you? Michelle, do you want to start it off?
Sure. For me and for High Plains Bank, community engagement just really means being a part of the fabric of the community, not just being on the fringe of what's going on, but really getting ourselves integrated into the schools and the businesses and the downtown community, and just really being a part of helping to solve problems, and just engaging deeply on a personal level with our staff getting involved, as well as the business sponsoring, different nonprofits and different activities that are supporting the communities to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Jean, John, please jump in. What does community building mean to you?
Jean, John. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Okay. Thanks, John. I think, similar to what Michelle said, of just that your business is more than just a business. It's really becomes part of the health of the community, and how you can, use your business in other ways to really engage that community, other than just providing a product or just or a service. That, just knowing that you're part of a citizen of that community is really important.
Yeah. Can you give me a specific example? Maybe from either of your businesses?
Yeah, I think just traditionally, craft businesses tend to give back to the community more than, locally kind of small-owned community-oriented businesses do a lot of fundraising. They give back in ways. They participate in boards on organizations that they care about. Because they know that having those kind of healthy nonprofits in their community are really important to the community, over the health of the community overall.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite examples that 300 Sons does is the chili cook-off, which benefits the Humane Society, and it's always just a great day with lots of beer, lots of fun, lots of people, and of course lots of chili. And that's all a fundraiser for a local nonprofit. So people get to come out and have fun, but also doing the right thing.
That's great. And how often do you do the chili cook-off?
We were doing it yearly. We did not do it this past year or this year. We're still kind of waiting to see how everything goes, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can kick up again.
Yeah.
So John, let's talk about community for you and community for your businesses. And I'd love to also hear about the quarantunes.
Well, I'll go back to what Michelle said, and it's really all about just weaving yourself in business into the fabric of the community, and really engaging in all the productions and businesses and people that are within the community. I mean, the city of Longmont puts on a lot of great events, and we've never said no. It's like, yes, let's be there. Anytime the bank reaches out and wants to have an event, yes, we will be there. And working with local businesses. Jean at 300 Sons is one of our best customers for our canned cocktails. And that's just so amazing. And we try and support and highlight this local connection that we have. We go and we'll have dinner there with the family, and we'll have some cans and eat there, and it's just such a great experience. And we share that with people and let people know that this is how you enjoy Longmont, with great local food and local beverages. Getting back to the quarantunes you asked about specifically, the pandemic really was very stressful, still is. We're not totally out of this, and
Yeah, totally.
it brought about some special circumstances for us. There's a lot of fun videos floating around from Abbott and Wallace during those times, but quarantunes was one where we've always wanted to support local musicians. Music on our stage at Abbott and Wallace has always been very important to us. We love providing music for the community and supporting local artists. And when we were shut down, we're like, we still want to stay committed to what we've always been doing. So we brought in Quarantunes and hosted. I think we ended up doing 4 or 5 local musicians on a video series about once a month through the pandemic. It was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I watched some of the videos. They looked like a lot of fun. So, as we're talking about, what we're really talking about here is businesses integrating into the community. It's better for the community. How is it better for the business?
Well,
Can you give me some specific examples?
Well, I think COVID is a really good example of just kind of how, all of these local businesses that hit this wall of, oh, what are we going to do about this? And the community really turned around and rallied around the businesses that were connected in the community. We had such amazing support from customers that, you don't have to come and get to go every 3 days. And we had customers that were coming in daily getting things from us just to keep us going, and tipping, being super generous with our employees, and just it was such an outpouring from the community, and it just really felt like it made it worthwhile to be part of this community, and it was super touching, and we're still seeing it now, just like, so when you give to the community really does give back to you in that way.
That's fantastic. And
Yeah,
Michelle, for I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Can I jump in there? I just feel like, continuing on that note, Longmont is a very engaged community, and they were and have continued to be so supportive of our little businesses, but they're so engaged. They'd rather be on Main Street supporting the family-run shops. And you could see it by the way they voted with their dollars. They wanted our businesses to stick around because we have been engaged and have tried to do the right things. And so I think just continuing to demonstrate that we're parts of this community and working together and needing them. We were like, hey, we need you guys. And they absolutely showed out. So I think it's just wonderful to be in a community that's so engaged, but you have to interact and show that you're a part of it.
Awesome. That's such great stories. I love it. Michelle, I was going to ask you, I understand that High Plains Bank really draws business from referrals. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yes. I mean, we like to say that we are a different kind of a bank, and we don't just, have CD specials and that sort of thing. And I think once people work with us, they come in and do business with us, and we work with a lot of startups and a lot of small businesses, Jean and John included. And, we don't just have we don't just have like these 3 buckets, these are the loans that we have. If you fit within this parameter and you comply with this rubric, then you get this loan. So we sort of do what we call craft lending, which is a way that we can just listen to what people need and what their unique circumstances are. Everybody has a different story and a different level of collateral and funding and support that they've got. So we just try to work with them creatively to try to make it work for them and their individual circumstance. So inherent in that activity, then you're building trust and you're building relationships with people. So when COVID hit, everybody hit the brakes, and PPP came up, and within the course of 2 weeks we pivoted. We had 60% of our staff working at home, and we created this workflow to do PPP loans. And I'm happy to say that we did over 500 PPP loans, and a lot of them were for $5,000, $20,000. They weren't all $1 million loans. And so we got a lot of customers coming from other banks that didn't have the time, or they didn't have the energy to work with a lot of the small businesses. So long-winded way of saying that, by doing that, people have that experience with us. And a lot of these people then come back and say, this was such a great service and such a great process for us that we're going to transfer our other pieces of business over. And ever since that, the PPP process, we did several different loan fundings during COVID. It's been incredible for our referral base, and it just continues to grow. And so we're trying to just meet that need.
That's amazing. And so you get most of your business through referrals.
That's correct.
Can I say something about like our experience with High Plains, because I think it's an important kind of point of that, that you will see similar marketing to what High Plains is saying they do from other banks that aren't actually doing it. Like you will see, hey, we're small business friendly. Hey, we treat you as, a personal, a person rather than a business. But High Plains genuinely does that. And I think that's important when you're connecting to the community, is that for a little while, a marketing campaign that says, hey, I'm really super community oriented and we're this great like family oriented business or whatever. If you're not actually, if that's not a genuine thing that you're genuinely doing and, following through with, it doesn't work. So community oriented marketing works because the people, only works when the people behind it truly believe that it is important to be like that. And I think that's why High Plains is so successful and gets those referrals, is because what they're saying out loud and what they're marketing out to the public is genuinely what they're doing. And you go in and you get to know these people, and they really do treat you like human beings rather than numbers on a page. I mean, it's really a relationship they build, and what they're putting out there and saying they're community oriented is genuine. And I think, with John at Abbott and Wallace, like, I know he believes what he's saying when he says that he's just, that you're really connected to the community, you care about people, and, that shines through.
Yeah.
You just have to be, genuine about that. Be true to your marketing plan. If you're going to say you're community oriented, don't just go out and say, I checked off this box,
So you've got to talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you do that. Right. So you all are so community focused. That's why you're here. Right. And the proof is in the pudding here. What advice can you give to those folks that are watching? How can they learn to instill community into their culture of their business?
Well, one thing that I could say is looking at some of our successful customers is that, doing the pre-work before you even have a brick and mortar or hang your shingle, and getting involved with the community, joining the chamber, getting involved with the Downtown Development Authority. And there's so many, awesome community civic groups that are in Longmont, and just going out and starting the process by meeting people and networking and finding out what's important to the community that you're working in. So one way we did that was when we started out, we set up a community advisory board, and we got 12 people on a panel that were just leaders in the community, and just ask them, what's important to you? What do you care about? What are things that are happening in Longmont or not happening in Longmont that need to be fulfilled? And so that's been very successful for us, because, we just sort of listened.
I love that. And how often did you bring your community group together?
So the advisory board, we did it on a quarterly basis, and we just did it over lunch. And it was just all about really listening and just asking the questions, and then just doing the deep listening about what was important, whether it was affordable housing or transportation or maintaining historical culture in Longmont. And then that drove our decisions for how we lend and how we market ourselves.
Oh, I love that. People love to be heard, and then you bring the community in to advise you on how to be better engaged in the community. That's fantastic. Jean, John, thoughts on how are you instilling a community culture into your businesses? How does it come from you out to your employees and out into the community?
Well, when we started, we were founded in 2015, and still in our 20s, wanting to start another beverage alcohol company in Longmont. People were like, "No way." We went to many banks and were referred to High Plains Bank, and they wanted to work with us, but they were like, you need to get out into the community and also raise funds. So they charged us with, getting into the community, finding people who are, believe in us, and also raise funds and have investors and have members that are part of this community and believe in what you're doing, and then we'll work together. And it all came together, and we have since referred other businesses to High Plains Bank, and that's worked out well. But I think, from our inception, it's just, you need to get out there and talk to other local business owners and other people who are engaged in this community to raise funds. And I think just building the business from the ground up, that's ultimately why we were founded as Abbott and Wallace in 2015, but opened our doors as Longtucky Spirits, because it became much more about our community and the people who came together and the businesses that helped us open our doors. And we're like, this isn't just about us. This is something that's gone on much longer, and we want to celebrate it. And so people might be confused by the Longtucky name, but it was a celebration of Longmont and our agricultural heritage and how this community has been strong, and we just wanted to reflect that in what we were doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's true of just kind of that where you start off as, I don't know where my thought process, I just lost everything I was thinking about. But I was thinking about like employees and stuff, about how,
Yeah.
It's hiring the right team of people, especially as you get bigger, that understand what you're trying to do and understand that community connection, and, how important the customer is in that connection, is a part of that. Like you can be as community oriented as you want, and you're not paying attention to what your employees are doing. It can create some real problems for you. But yeah, we work really hard on that. We're constantly coming up with ways to kind of explain like customer service and where we're coming from, and how, we want you to engage our customers. We want you to get to know them. We want you to make friends. We want you to know about their personal lives. And one of our tenets is share yourself with your customers, be genuine with the customers, and really get to know them in a genuine way.
Can you share some specific stories or examples of how you've trained, or maybe some mistakes you've seen?
We do every couple months, we do a training, and we just reiterate that kind of, thing. I'm trying to think specifically. I mean, our employees right now, we've got this great team that just kind of hangs out together, which is really cool. We haven't had a group like that before. We've always had really great people, but this is really nice. I can't think of it. Gosh, sorry.
I know some of Jean's employees before they were even part of their brewery. I mean, they hire the right folks, and that is not an understatement. I mean, it is so tough to get your teammates on board, and just the people working the front of your house. They are so important, and to get those people on the same page and share your vision of the community is like so tough. I feel like she was pretty specific there. Like that's such great advice, and being yourself and finding the right people who are engaged in this community and want to contribute and add value.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
For sure. And we've talked a little bit about the anecdotal examples, and they're really powerful, right? About the organization, the community coming together to support your businesses during COVID, and the work that High Plains Bank did to support the local community. Do you measure ROI on your community investment?
You can't really measure community with an ROI. It's immeasurable. It's like, it's priceless. So, yeah, I think that's really hard to do. You can't do the standardized sort of metrics, KPI stuff for building community. I think the results are in how the community, how the customers respond to you, and by showing the support they did for Jean and John and all the local communities. That's the ROI, that they come back and they support, and it's authentic.
That was a trick question.
Yeah, we
So,
don't.
yeah.
We don't have a way to really monetize that or anything, but I think definitely the whole COVID thing, like, that was invaluable. Like, that is completely priceless what the community did to help businesses get through that. Without that, I don't think any of us would have been here. No amount of money would have kept us open if no one was walking in our doors. So I think,
Right.
yeah.
And that's really where it comes into shine. And then in the good times, hopefully, then the community is really rallying and having a good time at your places and bringing business to your doors and referring people to you. A big part of it also is getting out in the community. Michelle, I know that you've got a specific, maybe not a policy, but you've got a way that you go out and direct some marketing dollars into the community. Can you share with us how you're executing on that plan?
Well, we just try to determine, again, what is the greatest community need, and then we try to earmark things for that. So for, like, one example would be the Sunrise Stampede was a race that got started. This is the 36th year it's going to be happening. And a couple of the guys that founded that race came to us. They were in their late 70s, and the old mayor of Longmont, Roger Lang, and Harold Schultz came and just said, this is an event that we no longer have the time or energy to run. We're getting tired of it, and it's getting too big for us. And so we tried to market it around and get the rec center to pick it up, or the town of, the city of Longmont. And we just felt like that was an institution that was important to maintain because it was raising funds for students with special needs. So for 3 years, High Plains Bank was the event coordinator. We did we set up, we moved it to Silver Creek. We made a lot of changes to it, but we did that. And I don't think a lot of people know that we were sort of the engine behind it. And we eventually got it moved over to the Education Foundation. But that's one example. And, as we have customers that are part of nonprofits, we learn about what the work is that they're doing, and we try to support all of our customers as much as we can. We do ads that feature our customers and their business, and so we try to really create this, like, a true partnership with our customers and with and that's part of our marketing strategy. It's not, we don't even really talk about finances much here, which is really weird for a bank.
Excellent.
I would say too, like, participating in those events and stuff is to just, I think some of the best community oriented things that we've done have been very small scale things. So, like, don't be afraid to, like, like we do the big festivals and things like that. And I know some businesses that are probably listening aren't really the same type of businesses. So think about the small ways in which you can participate in things. Some very small connections for us where we might be in front of 10 people. The word of mouth spreads. Those 10 people tell 10 people how special and unique that experience was. Like, when we do a tasting event and we have maybe 20 people there, those are some of our best customers later, because they've gotten to know us personally and it's such a personal connection, versus getting in front of, I could get in front of 400 people and at a festival and they don't even remember who we were. But at those small kind of little events, or even if you go, say you go and do Art Walk and maybe only 10 people walked up to your booth, but those 10 people were really engaged with you, that's better than 100 people that weren't engaged. So, I mean, those opportunities really take the time and get to know your customers on a personal basis are totally invaluable. That time is really worth it.
That's fantastic. Those are really great examples. I think that everybody can take home and use and build their businesses on top of those. And if you're watching remotely, you're watching through Zoom here or through any of the media channels, there are questions that are open. So please ask your questions to our panelists here. Let us know what you would like us to cover. I could just keep talking here for the next 20 minutes and having a great conversation, really enjoying it. But I want to know what you want to know. So please pop your questions into the chat. So Jean, I want to put the spotlight back on you. Michelle told me a story about when you were starting 300 Sons. Did Left Hand Brewing invite you to their location for your launch?
No, no, we did. We had what were you talking about, Michelle?
I was just talking about how before you even had a building, you guys brought a couple of kegs out to one of the Left Hand events and, popped a tent up and started serving beer.
Oh yeah, that was Oktoberfest. That was a big event. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even have them in kegs. They were our homebrew bottles. we had just gotten our liquor license the day before. And we were like, we have these homebrew bottles. We can't sell them because, we weren't there. So we decided to give them away. And if people wanted to donate, they would give us $1 and we donated it all to charity. We made, I think, $3,000 that day. So we had quite a lot of bottles that we went through. And that was huge for us because people remembered being there. They got to know that we were coming. And that was a really big event for us because it was a big wide exposure event. And it was at a time when people were really excited to see something new coming to the community for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love
that.
That
Is an example of like community supporting community. I mean, they have Left Hand has a very real understanding that their success in this community is also bolstered by the success of the rest of the community. Having another brewery in town, just makes us more of a destination. It doesn't, restaurants don't necessarily compete with each other. They build on each other. And if you can be a destination, more people come. It's great.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And what are ways, so I mean, we've talked a lot about how you are giving to the community and building the community and even training your staff on, how to be community facing, right? Because the referrals are so important. Are there other things we haven't covered that, that you're doing that are giving back to the community or maybe paying it forward to new people that are coming up?
I will jump in here. Some that we haven't really covered specifically is, with the history of distillation and the principles of distilling, you're taking what's around you, what's in your backyard, and preserving the crops. We work with a farmer who's 5th generation Longmont family farm. For 90% of our grains that go into our whiskey, and the rest comes from Berthoud. But working with a family farm that people know, we get people come in, oh, the Schlegels, and they'll be like, oh, those boys were trouble back in the day and stuff like that. Like, these people have been a part of the community way longer than we have. And, you can see the sugar mill in the background of their farm in our photos. It's like we're right here. And when we are at like the farmer's market, it's great because people, we say, hey, our grains are just coming right down the road here. This is a Longmont expression. You can't get any more local than this, and it's still downtown. And then we're at the farmers market. It's coming kind of full circle, and being able to communicate that story, and then people being able to share that. Hey, this is made right here, grown right here, and I think that's a big way that we engage and show, hey, we're a part of this. And it's also people can then take that and be like, wow, this tastes what, like Colorado whiskey should be. And I think, that's even just drinking and experiencing it is a cool way to display and enjoy community.
It is. It's so special. you think about Napa Valley, right? And they grow the grapes and they make the wine there. But do you really get that with other with whiskeys or with other liquors, right? It's other spirits, right? But to know that what you're drinking from Abbott and Wallace is local, it's the Longmont, it's the flavor of Longmont, literally. That's really special. That's really cool.
Well, one thing
we could taste it. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's almost whiskey 30. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, what Jean mentioned about, with Left Hand, I think that, Longmont and the St. Vrain Valley, market is really unique and maybe a little bit more community forward, because I think there's like this old school concept of like category exclusivity, and every restaurant is a competitor to every other restaurant. And, we really hit that hard when we came into the market. People are like, there's hundreds of banks in town. Why do we need another bank? Well, you got to create your differentiating point, but it's also this idea of there's a place for everybody, and we all support one another, and we all serve one another, and we have different offerings. So I think Longmont and some of the older, successful Longmont businesses really have entrenched that culture. And I think Eric Wallace is an excellent example of pushing that forward, and, and being, employee owned, and just so many of the things that they do, but, welcoming in these other smaller places, because they realize that this is like a symbiotic cumulative effect on the marketplace, and that the more the merrier is really the way a lot of Longmont thinks about it.
Yeah, we definitely, like, some of our best resources are the same businesses in town. Like, we get our kegs cleaned at Collision. So we used to get them cleaned at Left Hand for a really long time, and like that, without them we wouldn't be able to have our kegs cleaned. So it's like those kinds of things. We often, if somebody runs out of grain in town, we're calling each other up and saying, hey, are you out of this, or do you have this? During COVID, we were having a hard time getting crowlers because everybody was looking for the crowler cans, and we're all calling each other up and saying, I'll get you some this week, you get me some back the next week. And everybody was really helping each other out. And I mean, that comes from just all these businesses have always been just great to us, and we try to be great to them, and it's worked. It works really well. So
no, you can really feel the love here. All right, so we've got about 5 minutes left, and I want to do a little, let's call it the Longmont lightning round. So we've already got our favorite Longmont bank, our favorite Longmont distiller, and our favorite Longmont brewer. So let's talk about, what's your favorite Longmont restaurant? Michelle, go.
Rosalie's.
Rosalie's, okay. John.
Man, she took a good one there. God, I really love the food at 300 Suns. I mean, that Nashville chicken sandwich is hard to beat.
good, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so other than your restaurant, Jean, what's your next favorite restaurant?
I have so many. Like, I don't have a favorite for sure. Like, I have a list of favorites. Like,
give us our top three.
I love Pump House. They've been around forever, and I just think it's great that they've been around together, and it's like a comfort place. I like Mike O'Shea's. I like Rosalie's. I like, oh my God, it's too hard. It's too hard.
I know, it's not fair.
Like,
The Roost, Hefe's.
Yeah, like they're all like, yeah.
So good, yeah.
Mojo's.
Okay, next up, favorite spot on Main Street.
On Main
Jean,
Street.
go. Yeah.
Favorite spot on Main Street.
Favorite spot on Main Street. Could
I
be
love the
a
fountain.
store, a restaurant.
No, I love the fountain next to the church there because it's like this chill place. Like, you can be walking down Main Street and you take a little break and chill out, and there's artwork, and it's my favorite place to go when there's a festival because there's benches and you can sit and get out of the sun, but also because you're just surrounded by art, and it just feels very community there, and you can look and see all the people going up and down Main Street. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I know that's not a shop, but yeah.
No, I said spot. So there you go. You nailed it. Yeah. John, you're up.
Oh man,
On Main Street.
Rosalie's. That Rosalie's is on Main Street there. You know, there's I'll plug Quarters is right next door. You know, you want to have a slice and go play some games. Great spot to have a good night on Main Street.
Awesome. Michelle?
I'm going to say that corner down where Crackpots, you know, is, where there's just that little space, and they always have the chairs and tables out front, and you could just go paint some pottery and shop for
donuts. You can get donuts across the street.
What
Very
more do you
important.
need?
Right?
Yeah.
Donuts and pottery.
That's another favorite restaurant,
Yeah, honestly, yeah. That's my kid's favorite.
the Winchells.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, last one. Favorite spot off of Main Street?
I'm going to say I don't know if you say it Cycle Hops or Cyclops, but
I would say
the
Cycle Hops.
cantina,
Yeah.
Cycle Hops. Yeah. They've really got a killer margarita
Mm-hmm.
and good food.
What's that?
And good food.
Input. Yeah. Michelle, what's your favorite spot off of Main Street?
Oh, you just asked Michelle. I mean, Jean.
Oh, sorry, Jean. Yeah.
It's okay. Longtucky's not on Main Street, but I consider you downtown. So that's you're my favorite business, not on Main Street, but also downtown. Three Margaritas. That's it's been there forever, and like
Staple.
what a great business.
Excellent. John?
We, you know, as a family in Longmont, we love the St. Vrain Greenway, the bike path. Can't wait for that whole thing to open up, so we can get down there, go to the farmers market, or bike around to that waterfall out there, or hit a beer left hand, or Shoes and Brews. You know, 300 Suns isn't far off of there, and then that new
The like tubing place.
the new
Super
tubing
cool.
spot. The little girls love that, and it's just such a nice. I can't wait for them to finish that up, because it is just such a nice thoroughfare where you can have fun and stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Greenway is definitely my favorite. Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's a great project. Well, this has been fantastic. As everybody could see, not only do we have three amazing businesses that are focused on the community, they know their community, they love their community. I encourage everybody here to pop into all of these businesses, get some canned cocktails, get some canned beer, and go check out High Plains Bank. I know I definitely will for the next financial instrument that I need for the Maloy family. We'll definitely be heading over there, or for businesses. So thank you all, everybody, for your time today. Thank you to our panelists who had amazing insights and wonderful lessons for everybody that they could take home on how to really make community an essential part of your business, and why it is essential, and how you can utilize a community, give to the community, and how that community will give back to you eventually. So thank you, everybody. Next up at 10 o'clock, we have Building a Banking Relationship, and we're going to talk to the executives of High Plains Bank about how you should build a banking relationship and why that's important. So this is something that, believe it or not, is actually super important. I think we heard a little bit about that for COVID, but definitely important even in regular times. So thank you, everybody. Our panelists, you can turn off your cameras, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back at 10 o'clock.